Welcome to another video. In this video we are going to download and install Ubuntu 18 server. We're going to install it into a virtual machine using Oracle's VirtualBox. So you can see here in my browser, I've just searched for Ubuntu 18 server download, and I will go ahead and click on the first link. And you can see here we are going to immediately be introduced to this LTS, which is the long-term support version of Ubuntu server. This long-term support version will be maintained till at least April 2023. That's going to be great for us. This is a very typical installation for most businesses. It's stable. Only stable and well-tested layered products are installed into this version of Ubuntu server. So it's a really good idea. It's a safe, stable, sort of standard version of Ubuntu. One thing I will say though is because it's the server version, it's CLI or command line interface only. There's no X Windows, there's no graphical user interface, which is okay for us in this environment. But it might be an issue for some applications. So I'll go ahead and click download. Of course, I'll download that DVD image. It's about 800 megabytes. I've already done that. I can just slide this over and put it to the front. Here is the download. I've gone ahead and downloaded that for us already, so I can go ahead and close the browser. I've also started VirtualBox Manager before the video started. So we're going to go ahead and use that. We're going to click New. I'm going to create a name, Ubuntu 18 server. It's Linux, it's 64-bit. I'm going to set this to be 2048. 2 gigabytes of memory should be fine for what we're doing. Again, this is not going to be a server. It's not going to be a database server or anything like that. So very light duty, very light load. So 2 gigabytes of memory is going to be fine. I'll go ahead and create, and you can see here we're going to have this simple virtual hard disk file. It's of type VDI, which is the default, which is okay. It's going to be of size 10 gigabytes, which is also okay for the work that we're going to be doing. And it's going to be dynamically allocated, which means it's going to start small and only grow as the files inside of the virtual machine require it. So it's going to start small, less than 10 gigabytes, and grow up to 10, and at that point it will stop growing. So that works out very well. It saves us for disk space, so we'll go ahead and continue there. It's created now. You can see here where my mouse is. I'm going to click on Settings. There are two things that I want to change. First is storage. I want to install, or I want to attach my new CD image to this virtual machine. So I'll go ahead and click on the empty and then click on the CD image with the down arrow, click there, and I'm going to go ahead and choose optical. I'm going to go to my desktop and click on that Ubuntu 18.04.1.0-live-server AMD64. Click open. I'm going to click, I won't click OK quite yet. The next thing I want to do is I just want to change my network. I'm going to go ahead and switch it to bridged adapter. All I have to do is switch it to bridged. That will give this virtual machine, it will be as if it's on the wired network that my computer is attached to. As you can see here, the Ethernet adapter from the Surface. So I'm going to be able to interact with other networked machines in, I'm going to say, a non-NAT or a very standard sort of flat networked capability. So I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to click Start. Okay, so now we're inside of the installer program. Ubuntu 18 has booted up. I'm going to go ahead and just hit enter here. English is my preferred language. Again, the keyboard layout, English, and the variant of English US is okay, so I will click enter. I'm going to install Ubuntu, so no change, click enter. That's going to be my Ethernet adapter for your machine. Based on your configuration, whatever, it might have a different name. And similarly, it may also have a different IP address. Of course, that's the IP address of my network. As you can see, it's from DHCP, so I don't have to do anything there. I can go ahead and click enter. I don't have a proxy here, so I will click enter. That's the default for the mirror. I'm okay with that. I will click enter. I'm going to go ahead and use the entire disk. We created that new 10 gigabyte disk. There's nothing else on there. There's no boot manager. There's no sharing that disk with Windows or anything like that. So the default of use the entire disk is okay. And that's the one. And again, all of that looks okay. I have no real need to change it. So I'll just go ahead and click done. I have to down arrow and click continue. From this moment on, if you've made configuration decision mistakes, or if you've changed your mind, or if you realize that you've selected a different drive or whatever, you can go back from that. All you have to do is shut off your computer and no damage is done. From this moment, as soon as I hit enter on continue, I'm committed. I'm going to repartition or partition the disk and start my installation. So I'm okay with that. So I'll click continue, or I will select continue and then hit enter. Before that happens, though, I'm going to go ahead and type my name, Steve H. My server's name is going to be Ubuntu 18. My username will just be Steve. My password, of course, won't be mirrored. I'm not going to import an SSH identity, and so from there I can click tab once more, go to the done, and hit enter. There's a whole bunch of different, I'm going to say, specialized usage that one can use for Ubuntu 18 server. We're not going to use any of these at this moment, so I'm just going to kind of go through all of them. You can read them, look at them. However, I'm not going to select any, and I'm just going to highlight done and hit enter. All right, so installation is done, as you can see, and so I'm going to go ahead and reboot now. I don't have to worry about removing the installation media. I can just simply hit enter. All right, now it's booted. I'm going to go ahead and log in. There are three things that I wish to do before we go ahead and start using it. The first is to go sudo apt for, well, I don't know what it stands for, and then install. I want GCC, which is the GNU compiler. I will have to enter my password because of the sudo. I'll click yes. I'll go ahead and download these files and install them. All right, in addition to the GNU compiler, I would like to install the debugger, so the GDB, GNU debugger. So I will just up arrow once, erase the CC, and then replace it with DB. Hit enter, click yes. I did not have to add my password because sudo caches my credentials for some amount of minutes, a small amount of time, but since I'm mostly interactive, sudo believes that it is me. Finally, last step before we can get to using it, I'm going to do sudo apt, and then I'm going to do upgrade. You may have noticed earlier, actually, what I'll do just to show you. So I will exit, log out, and then I will log back in. And what you'll notice here is that I have 131 packages that can be updated, of which 55 of those are security updates. So before we get going on this program, or sorry, using this platform, I want to do a quick patching. So in order to do that, I will do sudo apt and then upgrade and hit enter, type in my password, and then yes. with that update being done, we can just quickly do an exit, log back in, and you can see we have 0 packages to be updated, 0 of which are security updates. You'll also notice it says system restart required, so I'm going to go ahead and take this moment. I will do an sudo, and then I'm going to do a halt. Not a reboot, so halt is going to shut her down, and I'm going to say it's like turning the power off. Often, with virtual machines, the power will not go off from there, so you can see that it's reached the target shut. I'm just going to go ahead and close it. Power off. Just like that. What I want to do, and what I always recommend, is I'm going to, right from this initial installation, I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot, and I'm going to say clean GCC and GDB installed, and then updated or patched. Let's go updated, and then click OK. So now I know that this is a clean system. It's got those 2 tools installed, and it's been updated. From this moment on, of course, I can just power back on and I'm good to go. So with that, I will end this video. Thanks so much for watching.